Add this one to the long list of harmful side effects from Obamacare for our economy. The president's health care law could cost America's job market more than 2 million workers. And this is according to a new projection by the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Take notes, Bob. Its director explained why on Capitol Hill today.
By providing heavily subsidized health insurance to people with very low income and then withdrawing those subsidies as income rises, the act creates a disincentive for people to work relative to what would have been the case in the absence of that act.
Well, the White House, of course, is trying its hardest to spin the news.
This might be somebody who used to work 60 hours because they needed health insurance. Now they can get a different job at 35 hours that doesn't offer health insurance, but they're getting it through this. This number itself is a small percentage of the overall economy. Second of all, this number itself is about effectively choices of people. And third, it doesn't reflect the full set of factors that go into it.
And Brit Hume isn't impressed.
That was a sad briefing, Megan. That really was. That performance by Jason Furman was one of the most unconvincing performances I've seen. His answers to the questions were they were pathetic.
Nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. Put that poor guy with that haircut out in front of the people to answer these questions, and it just didn't go well, did it, Eric? Because the math is not on their side.
Not Brit Hume.
No, not
the other guy. Look, Doug Elmendorf. Look, it's supposed to be fair and balanced right down the middle. The CBO scored it. Every time they scored something positive for the Obamacare, Obama's, any of his initiatives, we heard about it. The White House put it out there prominently on the whitehouse.gov website. All right, so here's the deal. 2.3 million jobs that you talked about, but they're trying to spin it in that, don't worry, that's a good thing. It's actually reducing the supply of labor. Lower supply brings wages up. It's wrong. What it's actually doing is it's decreasing our labor participation rate. People are giving up hope. If it were people choosing not to because they, you know what, it's time, I'm moving on, that's not the case. They're giving up hope with jobs. We're at the lowest rate in 30 years. Here's the other one, though. The other thing that the CBO scored, 31 million people, 10 years down the road, 31 million people won't have health insurance. Non-elderly, 31 million people, the same number that don't have it right now. What the heck are we spending all these trillions of dollars for, losing millions of jobs, if it's not going to help?
That is what they say. Those are the facts.
Exactly what they say.
That's why I took extra emphasis and time.
31 million, Bob.
You know that.
Let's just.
Could you have something to correct it with? I'd love to hear.
Let me just give me a second here. I can correct it, but I correct one thing right away. Your $1 trillion figure about this is going to cost. According to them, it's $8 billion.
No, it's $2 trillion. Over the
well, they say $8 billion. It's a little bit different.
$2 trillion. This is CBO numbers, Bob. I don't know what you're reading.
You're sitting here bragging on CBO. They're the most impartial group, and now you won't take their numbers on with
I'm telling you, it's $2 trillion. It's 2.3 million people.
I'm telling you, the CBO said it wasn't.
Greg?
What?
All right.
Okay. They're going to mud wrestle over here in the corner.
It's easy to kill jobs when you've never had a real one yourself. They don't see this as a sad thing. This is a victory. This is the desired result of the administration. For every job lost is one more body dependent on the government. This is the serenity of soft socialism. It doesn't come with a hammer. It comes with a handout, and it's just as deadly. But what is scary about this is that they're saying it's good news, that it's good news that people are voluntarily leaving their jobs. That's like saying starvation is good because it's giving you the freedom to lose weight. I mean, what does it require for the media to say that what President Obama is doing is bad? What is bad news? He's killing more jobs than Easy Pass.
Okay.
The safety, we always get yelled at. We always get yelled at because we talk about the safety net. We don't have an issue with the safety net, but somehow they believe the safety net is preferable to work. It's becoming a king-size bed for Americans who no longer feel the need to have to go out and work. Work is the soul of this country. If you don't work, you're dead. The only thing worse than working is not working. This is disgusting. We were talking about this in the green room. This is the only time I've actually felt despair, that when your government is saying, hooray, 2 million people are moving from making to taking. That's great.
Well, we're definitely going in the wrong direction. So this is not just even a communications crisis, Dana. It's a math problem. It's an economy problem. It's profound, and it's gonna be far-reaching. Where do they go from here, and why aren't people finally getting it?
Well, they worked all day yesterday and overnight to try to get reporters to try to defend them. So you have the New York Times editorial page today actually calling this report liberating. This is a liberating thing for Americans because they're not going to be locked into jobs that they hated. The thing is, also, if you make the safety net so comfortable, or if you raise give people so many subsidies that the lowest rung of that first ladder of the career ladder is not necessary to try to reach for, it's just the law of how people operate. You will not strive to work just if you have the subsidy. And the work is actually what has just made this country so great. I felt today like it was defining America down. Mm-hmm. The truth is that a law that discourages work by giving people a subsidy, it is a bad thing. It's not that I'm not for a safety net, but you are taking people out of the labor force. You can then not afford to pay for all the other things that you've promised to other people in the country, like baby boomers, who are going to need as many people in the workforce as they can possibly get to pay for all the things that we've promised to give to them.
Yeah, it's bad for our development, just like it's bad for kids to do too much for them when they're little, encourage them to do things for themselves. Mm-hmm. Or just like when you have guests over, and if you make the sheets in the guest bedroom too nice, they're never going to leave. You got to make them a little scratchy and not good towel service.
I never do that.
Put a fish in them. Let me make sure I understand this right now. 2.5 million people are going to leave their jobs in order to get health care when they've already got health care. But now they can get health care under Obamacare. And they don't have to, their employer gives them health care, right?
Well, it's not the same.
They have the choice.
It's not the same 2.3 million. Aggregately, 2.3 million people more will leave the workforce that end up coming into the workforce.
I'm not being argumentative. I just want to know what is the thinking.
Don't ask me. Ask the CBO. They scored this thing.
But I thought you learned people. I'm the one who's supposed to be not learned here. I want to know why it is that people are going to leave a paying job just to get health care and then not get any other money to live. Now, how's that figure out?
Because in order to pay for their health care, they couldn't afford to continue to work a part-time job or 2 or 3 part-time jobs, so they go on Medicare.
Now they're going to have health care and they're not going to have any other money to put gas in their car to do anything like that?
Can I do, Bob, please, this is a CBO.
You say you fall back and say
we're not making it up.
Can we just talk about something?
That's a lie.
So Obamacare for people who don't have or can't afford health insurance is, in fact, a safety net. Dana's right. So is unemployment insurance, so are food stamps, all these safety nets. What they're doing is at some point we're realizing that the GOP has been right for the last 60 or 70 years, saying you can't keep extending these payments, these transfer payments to people from the makers to the takers. It disincentivizes them to go work.
Okay, so let me show you this right. You leave your job, a paying job, you go and you get health care, and that's subsidized. You get food stamps, and you get maybe unemployment benefits, and that's what you get, right? That's the total safety net we're talking about. Which means that they're much worse off, much worse off.
Bob,
I just want to know who these people are.
Okay, Bob, but first of all, it would be helpful if we could all be operating from the same information, which is the CBO report, which we've all spent the last 2 days reading. The point of this is not that there's not 2.5 million people that are just all of a sudden not going to have jobs. It's lots of different things. For example, one of the things CBO explains is that let's say that you have a 40-hour-a-week job, but you're working 40 hours because that's how you got your health care. But you really don't want to work as many hours because you have other obligations. You think you want to take your kid to soccer practice, whatever. So you decide then to work 30 hours only, which means that you can get to keep your health insurance if you're working 30 hours. So it's the equivalent of 2.5 million jobs. So that's what we're talking about. It's not like you're giving pink slips to 2.5 million people. It's the equivalent of taking 2.5 million people out of the labor force because they're disincentivized to work.
Are you suggesting that I didn't read the CBO report the last 2 days?
I think I am. Because otherwise, why are we arguing about the core basic facts of what the CBO said?
Yes, I did. But this is how... Okay. This is how the revolution works. It is not overnight. It is a gradual expansion of government, replacing market services with mediocrity, imposters. Ultimately, work for the poor becomes unnecessary because they get these free things, and only the rich will end up getting the quality goods because they're the ones working. Who knew Obama was a warrior for the 1%? He argues about income inequality, and what he is doing is he's creating a massive gap between people who no longer work while bringing in cheap labor from other countries. This might be the worst thing you can do for a country.
It's crippling. It's crippling to America. That's why people people are upset about
The
it.
great free market develops some great jobs.
Yeah, they can all be
explained it.
feminist
Here's what happens,
bloggers.
Bob, people work fewer hours. In the aggregate of those hours worked, the fewer hours worked means that there are 2.3 million fewer 40-hour week jobs.
Right.
Can I make one quick point?
And then we got
Nancy
something fun.
Pelosi told us while they were pushing this law down our throat that the health care law was going to create 4 million jobs, 400,000 jobs immediately.
Yes.
But
She also
this
said she had
is
to
how
read it to
things
find out
happen,
what was
guys.
in it.
This is what happens. You go from create 4 million to actually lose 2.3 million, and none are created.
Because the media doesn't question their math or the Obamacare, the policies, or even read. No, this is true. That's why we're all sitting here. The only ones that have been saying it. Now everything is coming home and chickens.
I do think that their spin over the last 2 days is actually what's made people even more mad.
Yeah.
People can deal with the facts. They get irritated about the spin.
Right.
And it also undercuts President Obama's message on inequality. Because if hard work is rewarded, so if it's a good thing that that people get to make a choice to work less, then what about the people that have to work more and earn more? Because the only way you're going to improve your lot is if you work harder.
Yeah, but hard work pays off. Why is it? That's the case. Why is the medium income in this country not moving?
But guess what, Bob? Your team, when you have a bad case to make and you can't make it, then you bring in these crazy little gimmicks. Take a look.
It's easy for all of you to jump on me. That's fine. I understand that. It's fine. I just want to know why it is that during the great free market has not created a damn good job for the middle class.
Can you please?
Obama's
the animal
video.
What
are you saying?
That was happening back during Bush and Obama.
It's Bush's fault.
No, look at the medium income.
Is that what they call it? A call for? It should be called a beg for. I'm begging for the spot.
Sean, get that thing down. Did you hear me?
All right. Bob is yelling. Who let the inmates out of the asylum? All right. So, what do you think of this video? Let's do a quick go around. You like a lot of animal weird things on your show.
Well, you know what this is? The animal is a symbolic gesture towards women that somehow this is what will get you into a system. This goes back to what we're talking about before. These people don't understand what real people do for a living. They think they're all feminist bloggers or going to law school, and the cats will get them their health care. Human beings cannot lead productive lives without productivity. We're replacing our soul with sloth, and this is garbage.
All right. Well, I mean, when you have to bring in the
garbage.
Animals,
it is garbage.
Anybody else got a quick
should admit that this is bad.
I don't know how effective this ad would be because I've watched it 4 times now, and every time I look at it, I think it's for pet food.
Yeah, I mean, if
what is it for?
They'll be eating pet food.
What is it for?
It's for Obamacare.
Bowling.
Oh, goodness.
It's about having
Sean, you're dead.
Sign people up for Obamacare. No thoughts on it.
Sean can't save you. The LA Times can't save you.
Can't sell Obamacare. Those cats and dogs aren't going to be able to do it.
All right. There you go.
It's gone to the dogs.
Next.